Ooh, cummy in my belly button. Welcome back to the dimecomicbros podcast, where we have cummy in our belly buttons.
No, only Colin. Only Colin has cummy in his belly button.
Of course.
Unless he has more than one belly button.
Where else do you store the cum?
Is it his?
Ooh.
Definitely not.
Or somebody else's?
Wow. You really do get around.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time. Welcome back to Dime Comic Bros Podcast. We are three dudes talking about comics that we got for cheap.
No more cummies.
I am Jacob, joined by Spencer and Colin, who's on the other side of the table in classic interview fashion. I'm a little scared.
Yeah,
We're
putting you on the casting couch.
Give me your tits.
Oh my gosh.
It is a news week, so this week we talk about the news.
We're not naked. It's not three nude news dudes.
Take your socks off right now.
My socks are off.
I know. Jacob, you're the only one.
But I'm wearing my Morty socks.
Take them
Rick
off.
and Morty. See, look.
Oh.
Bro, he's a true fan.
He really is.
He really is.
Got it for Christmas.
He's a true believer.
True believer.
They were a Christmas present.
Sure. Just like the Pickle Rick condoms you use and...
They actually taste like pickles.
Oh my god. What? We have an exclusive from Deadline.com. Fred Hetchinger has joined Sony Pictures' Kraven the Hunter, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson in the titular role. Although it's unconfirmed, sources say Hetchinger would play Chameleon, the brother of Kraven, in the movie. J.C. Chandor is directing the pick with Avi Arad and Matt Tolmack producing. Art Markham, Matt Holloway, and Richard Wenk penned the screenplay. One of Sony Pictures' universe of Marvel characters, Kraven is among Marvel's most iconic and notorious anti-heroes, who's encountered Venom and Black Panther among many others, as well as being known as one of Spider-Man's best known and most formidable enemies. The film will be releasing theatrically on January 13th of 2023. Cool.
I honestly expected a bigger reaction from you because it's Kraven.
I mean, we already know who Kraven is. That's the part I really care about. And I think that casting's fine, I guess. I still think it's weird that they're double casting him. That's weird, but cool. We got Aaron Taylor Johnson was the MCU's Quicksilver, so that's kind of weird. But
Oh, he's playing Kraven?
yes. But this is not that casting announcement. Do you literally listen to any of the words we say ever?
No.
We covered this.
I was reading a text.
You're stupid.
Yeah.
Who would you cast instead?
Good question. Not a really boring ass white dude, to be honest. Aaron Taylor Johnson's really boring. I don't mind him, he's a good actor, but like for a Eastern European, or potentially you could kind of recast it anywhere type of role, it feels really boring to just go with like a safe pick in that sense.
I haven't seen too many Kraven comics, but it's gotta be somebody who's like an even mix of kind of built and also kind of dad bod. I've got like Brendan Fraser in mind, but he's a little old.
You know who I think of? Remember Ra's al Ghul from Arrow?
I don't think I made it
I
that
hated
far.
that.
Yeah, but like when I think of Kraven, the only actor I can think of is that guy.
That's weird. No, I mean, I don't have, like, a specific thing in mind. I'm not really into fan casting that much. Not anymore, I used to be. But, like...
Gay as fuck.
Yeah, it gets really weird.
It's so stupid. I remember my brother growing up used to do that all the time. I thought it was so dumb. It's, like, such a waste of time, dude. Touch grass.
It's just...
Touch grass, dude.
This has become Colin's platform to bash his brother, like, weekly.
I do, don't I? And he still listens!
And he still pays us, so...
Yeah!
It's interesting that Sony Pictures has really taken hold of Spider-Man's villains list.
Instead of, like, reusing.
It's like they're just really trying hard to cash in on the MCU, I guess?
I think the part of that arrangement that's more surprising for me is that Marvel's seemingly cool with it. That seems to be part of their most recent deal, which the details weren't made public, that they're okay with those movies being somehow canon to the MCU, and it's like, really? Kevin, really? These monstrosities?
They have the multiverse to fall back on. Like,
that's just weird.
That's it.
I don't know. But hopefully it's good, which is what I say about literally everything.
Yep.
I literally, like, I don't even follow MCU anymore, honestly, because there's just so much to it. It seems like too much for me, and it just seems like there's more, like, really moments than there are, like, moments that I enjoy.
It's certainly been like that for the past little bit.
I must be honest, though, seeing the Multiverse of Madness trailer on the IMAX screen...
That was nice.
...was amazing.
That was very hot.
I've only been kind of so-so on Multiverse of Madness, but it looked fantastic last night.
It's definitely going to be a visual feast, if absolutely nothing else. But, yeah, oh my goodness, that was hot.
You're hot.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
Colin, you're thirsty again.
From DCComics.com, best-selling writer, our favorite, well, one of our favorites on the show, Tom King, continues to plumb the depths of the DC universe with an all-new DC Black Label comic, Danger Street. This 12-issue maxi-series reunites King with his fellow Rorschach collaborators, artist Jorge Fornes and colorist Dave Stewart, in a deeply layered crime drama featuring reimagined and updated versions of some of DC's most obscure and offbeat superheroes from the DC first issue special series from the mid-1970s.
But does it include the most obscure DC superhero, Shrek?
You're fucked. Go get fucked by Shrek.
Okay.
Moving on.
Shrek is love.
Shrek is life.
Joining the Justice League is a goal for any superhero, but what happens when a quest for membership takes a sinister turn? Join Starman, Metamorpho, and Warlord as they look to prove themselves worthy by summoning and defeating Darkseid in battle. Soon they'll learn that calling upon a new god never ends well, and their world is headed for a disaster as a result. The journey to save the day will be a treacherous one, filled with princesses, knights, as in knights, and all kinds of monsters. Each person the heroes encounter plays a crucial, one could say critical, role in this sprawling yet gripping narrative that is a little bit silly, a whole lot dark, and completely cool. The 12-issue DC Black Label series arrives in comic book shops and participating digital retailers Tuesday, May the 3rd, 2022.
Dave Stewart is on literally everything.
He is, because he's like a god.
Everyone's colorist. And it's
him
weird
and,
because you'd expect sometimes, or at least me, when I think of a colorist, I think of like they choose their colors the way that they want to do colors. But I know that's not always the case or like ever the case. So it's weird seeing his name when he does so many different comics. So there's different palettes.
Yes.
I want to know. I get so pissed off. I want to know. Dave Stewart released your palettes for Hellboy. Right now. I need that. Why won't colorists release the palettes? I need that. Pisses me off. I have to keep guessing.
It's interesting that it's a Black Label series that has 12 issues.
I want Darkseid to rip their heads off.
I don't know. Is that a first?
No, Rorschach was 12.
Oh, that's right.
Rorschach was 12, and then I think there might have been one other one, but for the most part, they're usually shorter.
Yeah.
Hence why they're like maxi series. It's such a pretentious name.
Dumb name. It sounds like feminine products.
Because they are. Exclusive from Variety.com.
No, it's .com.
You do say .com.
Sometimes
You
I
do.
Not sometimes. Every time.
Really?
Every
Most
time.
times.
I gotta work on that. Or not.
Exclusive from Variety.com for... More than 2 years after completing his 9th Star Wars movie, composer John Williams is returning to the Jedi fold with a theme for Obi-Wan Kenobi, Variety has learned. Williams scored the original Obi-Wan Kenobi as played by Alec Guinness with a theme that became better known as that of the Force, perhaps best remembered for its use in the throne room scene that concluded the first Star Wars film, and which Williams has often performed in concert. It is not known if he has reprised that or possibly a theme from the George Lucas directed Williams scored prequels that featured McGregor, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith from 1999 through 2005, or written an entirely new piece. The TV stories are said to take place after the events of Sith, Revenge of the Sith. Be more specific. No word yet as to who will be scoring the 6 individual episodes.
I think this is the perfect way to keep him on board, because this is what they did for Solo, and that main theme is phenomenal, but also Williams is very old and cranky and kind of done with Star Wars. This is a really nice way to let him get his fingers in there, but not throw the entire production at him, because he said openly that he's done doing whole Star Wars movies now.
Yeah.
That the saga films are over, and they better be. This will be cool. I hope it's something. I'm assuming it'll probably be something really cool and like a weird, twisty, turny version of what he's done before. Because McGregor Kenobi had a theme in the prequels, and then like it said, the original The Force theme, which is now just plastered all over Star Wars everywhere, was originally Obi-Wan's theme. It just got repurposed immediately. Mm-hmm. So, hot. Ooh. I got this one. Matt Reeves has said at the film's UK premiere that a sequel to The Batman is currently in early development.
Spencer was excited because he has the small one.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I'm surprised that it's already in early development. Well, alright. I take that back. I'm not surprised that they're already filling notebooks basically, but I don't know, it sounds like it's a little bit further than that they're already working on it. They've already got their teams together, you know what I mean?
They're working on
the sequel.
Solidifying the designs for things.
I wouldn't say that far. It sounds like, based on what Reeves and I think Pattinson mostly have said, they're probably doing writer's room type shit right now, because they've stated enough, I suppose, that they haven't really nailed down what villains they want to do. They've said, hey, we want to do this, we would love to do this, but they haven't said explicitly that they're planning on doing anything yet. So
I think this Batman would be really cool if we had Killer Croc.
That'd be fun. They've stated that they want to do, or would be interested in, Freeze, Azrael, Court of Owls, and Pattinson has specifically mentioned he wants to have a Robin at some point.
I don't know.
That would be sick.
I don't know what conversation you and I just had, but...
It better be a 10-year-old Robin.
Oh my god.
That would make sense.
Dick Grayson.
Shut up!
Age 12.
Dick size 4 inches.
This will be fun. Jacob, this is a chonky one. I'm gonna nut really hard the whole time. I'm sorry.
We're on a folding table, so just back away from the table before you nut, because I don't need to hear...
You're implying I can even hit the table.
Small penis.
Exclusive from comicbook.com. Award-winning writer Chip Zdarsky is about to bring DC Comics' Batman into a new era. Comicbook.com can exclusively reveal that Zdarsky, Daredevil, Spider-Man life story, will be taking over as the writer of the main Batman title beginning in July, with art from one of the title's most recent artists, Jorge Jimenez of Justice League and Super Sons. The duo's collaboration on the title will begin with Failsafe, a 6-issue story arc that kicks off with July 5th's oversized Batman number 125. This will mark Zdarsky's latest contribution to the Batman mythos, following the Black Label maxi series Batman the Knight and stories in Batman Urban Legends, Batman Black and White, and Detective Comics number 1027.
That's fucked up.
According to Zdarsky, the Failsafe arc will follow Bruce Wayne as he is having nightmares of a future he can't stop. there's a chance he might not make it to that future, as a startling enemy from Batman's past has one relentless goal: to end Batman no matter what it takes. While Zdarsky won't reveal whether that startling enemy is a new or established character, the threat with the arc poses will put Bruce to the test. When DC approached me to write Batman, I immediately thought about things that could really challenge the character mentally, physically, and in terms of his relationships, Zdarsky told comicbook.com via email. Failsafe is his doomsday. When I started mapping out the story, I got really excited about where it could take the title. He's a superstar, Zdarsky said of working with Jimenez, not just as an artist but as a person. He's really delightful and excited about the character and the direction we're going in, which is great. We talked about going darker with the book, and he's been all aboard with some really stunning pages that showcase the tone. I honestly can't say enough good things about Jorge. He creates beauty at an amazing speed. I'm angry that he's also so handsome, as it's just not fair. The only good thing about the pandemic, that I probably won't have to be on a panel next to him, which would only serve to highlight how old and gross I look.
What the fuck?
The past few years have had a lot of Batman on his own, with so many Robins, etc. in his orbit, Zdarsky explained. But I wanted to really highlight the Batman and Robin aspect of the characters while still maintaining the darker feel we're going for. Tim Drake is a favorite of mine, and being able to highlight him here has been a lot of fun. Zdarsky will be the latest writer for Batman since the start of the DC Rebirth reboot, reimagined, redone, remastered. Following lengthy runs from Tom King and James Tynion IV, as well as the current arc penned by Joshua Williamson. While we'll have to wait and see Zdarsky's long-term plans for the title, he did tease that we're just getting started.
Okay, so I did immediately go to Jetpack to talk about this because I was really curious on some people's thoughts. I talked to Rich and Kyle. It was mostly just Rich. Because the thing that really threw me on this announcement was Williamson and I believe Molina, who's doing the art, just took over, and they're doing like 7 issues, and that was it. And they had announced it as they were going to be doing the ongoing.
Right.
So I was like, did something happen? You know, was there like, you know, beef? You don't want no beef? You know, like, so did something happen or whatever? And apparently this was, by the sounds of Williamson and Zdarsky on Twitter, like, they're friends. Like, they were fine. It just, it sounds like potentially they were trying to get the contract signed for Zdarsky because he works a lot with Marvel, so there was probably more negotiations involved. So they just had Williamson come in to do those issues, and if they didn't work it out with Zdarsky, Williamson could just continue anyways. This is cool. Zdarsky's great. I'm really happy that Jimenez is coming back. He's like my favorite Batman artist. This is going to be really good. And also Batman and Robin and Tim Drake. And this is cool. I want more.
What has Jimenez done that I've read? I honestly don't remember. What?
I don't think he's done anything you've read.
What's some of your favorites?
He was the one. He was doing the work with Tynion for his run, for most of it, anyways. Let me just pull up some of his designs. He's
the one with the new Scarecrow.
Yes.
Okay.
He's really good at doing like kind of cartoony, but not in a really goofy way. It's just really heavily stylized stuff. Also, his Harley Quinn is fucking adorable, but that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's nice that the line is finally putting Tim Drake back in the spotlight. It sounds like they're finally figuring out what the hell to do with him. So that's nice.
Surprisingly, he's always the forgotten son.
He literally is, and that's why I think it was nice that they had him hit one of the first urban legend stories, which I have read. And like they're finally sorting out what they want to do with him, and now that they're also sorting out the fuck Damien's been up on, you know, lots of heroin probably. It's nice to kind of get that settled finally.
From Marvel.com, he's back. Recently resurrected in The Last of the Marvels, the latest story arc in Kelly Thompson's hit run on Captain Marvel, Janice Vale will go on to star in an all-new limited series this June written by the creator who helped define him, the legendary Peter David. Announced earlier today at Comics Pro, Guinness Val, Captain Marvel, will be a 5-issue epic featuring artwork by electrifying artist Juanan Ramirez, Darkhawk. The series will see the fan favorite Captain Marvel reunite with his former partner, Rick Jones, for the first time in decades for an adventure that spans the Marvel cosmos and a mystery involving death itself. Both now back in the land of the living, Guinness Vale and Rick Jones are about to come crashing back into each other. Can Rick Jones save Guinness and himself before they both fade out of existence? Is Rick's ex-wife, Marlo, the key? Find out in the surprising saga that will chart a new course through the Marvel Universe for Guinness, Rick, and more. Quote, I never thought I'd have the opportunity to return to Guinness. What with him being dead and all, but apparently death never lasts. What a surprise. Which is actually one of the themes of the limited series I came up with, end quote. David said, quote, it's great to be back with Guinness, Rick, Marlo, and the whole Guinnessville gang, end quote.
I have zero familiarity with basically any part of the Captain Marvel mythos.
I don't fucking know anything about this.
Rick Jones is the old school one.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested that they're going after the Lady Death.
Mummy.
Hot mummy milkers.
That could get into Thanos stuff too. Which
Thanos
is all
has been
good
up
stuff.
on some shenanigans lately too. Is that mine? Is that yours?
Yours.
That's you. Okay. I don't remember life.
Bitch.
Sony Pictures released the final trailer for Morbius, coming exclusively to cinemas April 1st.
Looks like all the other trailers.
It looks like more of the same.
Yeah.
I want to watch this drunk.
I hope
Me too.
that they're just, restraining themselves and not showing us the entire movie in all the trailers, and not that we've just seen the whole movie in the trailer.
Yes, we probably haven't. I'm not like think there's some great magic twist in there. They're, I think, aware of the 90s action movie vibes. They have epic voiceover in the trailer that says, "Your face is come on." So, but I don't want that. I don't want more Venom half-assed self-awareness shit. I want a good movie with good vampires or bad vampires. Even sparkly vampires are okay.
It's really tough to judge this movie because I've read a lot of Morbius stuff.
Because there's only
3 runs.
Books.
Yeah,
you've read all of what exists.
Basically. And they've all gotten canceled, and I think there was one with a really good idea. He teamed up with Spider-Man, and they were geeking out over sciencey stuff, trying to solve his issue. But again, it got canceled and it didn't go anywhere. So it's tough to go in with expectations because Morbius is such a dejected character. He can't get anything.
It seems like every run his personality is different too. I'm sure that doesn't help.
Right.
I think what they really should do is main continuity needs to give him the plasma sucking hands from the animated series, because that was one of the weird things they had to do to get around the censorship for being a Saturday morning cartoon.
Right.
And I loved it. So they should totally do that. They should give him another mutation, and now he has to do the blood sucking out of his hands.
I mean, you have the basics where he's a vampire and he has to try to avoid killing people by sucking blood, but he still has to live too. So
yeah,
that's a really good conflict that this movie should definitely have, but they don't even seem to have that in the trailer, and that's why I'm nervous.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the hell. I don't know what they're doing. That's the part that makes it kind of weird, is they have sprinklings of oh, that sounds cool, oh, that looks kind of okay, and then there's just so much of it. There's one of the cop protagonists or antagonists has a robot arm, and there might be another vampire as the bad guy, and also they're Spider-Man villains, but also it's not in the MCU. The fact that the conversation mostly exists around whether or not this is in the MCU or not is kind of indicative of it being a problem.
And Morbius is the perfect character to have on screen with Blade.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because Blade, I think it's even happened in the comics, has tried to kill Morbius. He's like, no, I'm trying to be a good guy. Give me...
Please, no kill.
Yeah, spare me. So,
yeah,
Blade and Spider-Man and Morbius, I don't know. It's tough to just have a solo Morbius movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a backup character.
Gay. Anyway, Marvel Studios released a new poster for Moon Knight coming exclusively to Disney Plus March 30th.
It's the Mr. Knight poster.
Yes.
Very hot.
I love Mr. Knight.
We know.
That's like one of my favorite. That's actually my favorite suit.
Yeah, the posters for this have been quite nice. There's, I think, 3 official ones in the United States market. They're quite nice. Got some, I think, like merchandise leaks too for like T-shirts and stuff. Looks quite good.
From comicbook.com. Despite being known for writing the most popular runs on the character, acclaimed comic writer Garth Ennis hasn't actually written a major Frank Castle title in years, though his Punisher Max work from the mid-2000s remains the pinnacle of the character to many Marvel readers, including myself. Ennis's most recent work with the character came in Punisher Max The Platoon and Punisher Soviet, 2 miniseries published in 2018 and 2020, respectively. Speaking in a new interview with the Comic Book Couples Counseling podcast, which I have listened to, they are wicked cool.
They're really fun.
Ennis confirmed that not only is he coming back for Frank, but will continue one of his most popular storylines. I should say there's going to be another Punisher presumably later this year, Ennis revealed. A Vietnam story that will join with the events of the Nick Fury series and Bourne. You'll find out what happened in between and how he's ended up at Firebase Valley Forge. Frank's competency, almost the enjoyment of the combat, is not a straight line, not as inevitable as some may think. You'll see that in the story. The storylines Ennis refers to, of course, are The Punisher Bourne, his origin take on the character from the early 2000s, with artist Derek Robertson, and the Fury Max comics, the most recent of which was Fury My War Gone By from 2012. All that in mind, it sounds like this new Punisher from Ennis will connect some dots that readers didn't know they didn't have. No title or publication date was revealed by Ennis, but the year is still young.
Hype, 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 hype.
I wonder if this is a test to see if they can revisit the series and continue it or make more in it. Like, if this does well, if they'll have him make even more in that line, or if this is just a one-off special just to fill in something we didn't know we were missing. It's interesting.
It would definitely, I think that would make sense. If they test the waters, go, you have however many issues he gets to fill that chunk of time, and then if that really does sell well, because I don't believe Punisher's last ongoing was only for like a year or two, as usual. It got canceled again, and then we have the one that's coming out now, which is a mini series. So it would,
and it's also kind of a crossover.
Sort of. I feel like it would be cool and probably a good idea to have, like, you can test the waters on if, frankly, just Garth Ennis can, like, still write it. Like, you have to it's been a long time.
Right.
And then if that goes well, the Jason Aaron run that's on right now goes well, and then you can have Garth come in and then continue with what the Jason Aaron run's doing, so he can, the guy who has his fingers the most over the most, the guy who basically redefined or defined the character for what we think of now, him continuing in this somewhat different direction they want to push him in, I think would be a really good fit. So they can get him involved so they can keep riding the line without, like, pushing it too far away from what he wanted to do, but also let him, like, whatever parameters they want to put on it in terms of, like, slightly less spicy or, like, whatever the fuck, and then they tell him, this is what you have to work with. Like, this would be the guy to let him do that. I think would be better than trying to get, like, a more, it's not safe exactly, but like a good studio guy type writer to just kind of keep pushing with whatever the editors want type of deal. If that made any coherent sense at all.
Kind of. I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep my eye on it. I don't know if I'll buy it outright. I don't know. We shall see.
Moving on, we still don't have an ongoing show. In 2 weeks, we will be starting Moon Knight. Wait, 2 weeks? 3 weeks. Sorry, I'm stupid. So moving right in, call it Colin.
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
I've been reading the 2017 through 2018 run of Darth Vader.
Ooh.
And I finally finished the third volume. I'm going to talk about volume 3 and 4.
Fuck.
First, volume 3, basically just a war on what's it called? What is the planet with the like fishy people? Fuck, what's it called?
The fishy people?
Yeah, they're
Like Akbar fishy?
Yes.
Oh,
Mon
Cala.
Cala. So the Mon Cala system. Basically just a war there. There's a really, really shitty Jedi that ruined everything. Rogue One gets talked about a little bit, like early Rogue One, about how there's a really shitty thing in Death Star and blah blah blah, all that, and talks about a little bit of Geonosis, and pretty much that's it. I don't like that part, because it was just boring to me. The shitty Jedi was shitty, and that's it. But my favorite of this entire series is Volume 4, Darth Vader, Fortress Vader, where we're introduced to the Sith Lord Momin. And
Sith Lord?
Yes. And let me give a synopsis. A Jedi makes a desperate deal, the Inquisitor's mission evolves, and Darth Vader discovers a theft. And when the thief faces the consequences of the crime, Emperor Palpatine rewards Vader with 3 gifts: a thing, a choice, and a voice. Seeking the path to his destiny, Darth Vader returns to the path of his birth, the fiery world of Mustafar. He plans to raise a mighty fortress, an unbreakable symbol of his power, and a path to his own past and the dark mysteries of the Sith. The foundation is laid, the brutal design begins to take shape, but the planet's inhabitants will not take this desecration lightly and begin to formulate plans of their own. Vader's fortress will stand, but at a terrible cost. The fire will come to Mustafar, and all will burn. So this is my favorite because I love it when Darth Vader is very much like, I want to know the mystic arts and shit like that, because growing up I've never saw Vader as like that. Even though after rewatch I realized that Vader has always been like that, because ever since the first movie he was always stating that just because we have a giant weapon doesn't mean we're gonna win. Only the Force wills it, we will. Darth Vader's always been like that.
You're the only practitioner of your ancient religion.
I just love that.
Very much so a fedora-tipping atheist moment.
Yes.
Redditor.
Sorry. Gosh. But like I after rewatching that, I realized that Darth Vader is actually this dude that is very religious. He's very into what he believes. He's not just a dude that uses this shit. He's not like Palpatine, who uses other devices rather than just the will of the Force or the will of the dark side. And so we finally get to touch on that in this a lot, because in this, while he's trying to get this built, he has this architecture lady already who's supposed to help him, and she comes up with a couple designs. She's like, oh yeah, I think you'll like this. And he's like, wrong. Just says wrong as he's meditating. And she's like, what do you mean? He's like, wrong. And so she goes back, and this helmet is attached to one of her fellow colleagues who helps design. And she's like, what the fuck is this? And the dude kills her. And the guy with the helmet...
Did a murder?
Yeah, and the guy with the helmet goes to Vader, or Vader shows up, and he sees what the fuck's going on, but he sees a schematic for a fortress. And so he kills the dude, takes the helmet, tries to put on the helmet, and is like, this is fucked up. So as this whole series goes on, the helmet he puts on various users so he can talk to the Dark Lord Momin, who basically is just a fucking crazy murderous artist that believes that his destiny is to create the perfect artwork in the will of the dark side, to do the will of the dark side. And he's a student of the dark side. But one thing he always said was, like, he would never call himself a master, but he would neither call himself an apprentice either. So he killed his master and never took on his own apprentice because there's too much to learn in such little time. So I really liked that. And the whole point of the fortress was it was meant to be a key, a conduit to the dark side that reside in this little temple area, this little cave temple that Darth Vader found way back in the first volume where he made his lightsaber for the first time, and he found a connection to the dark side. Another thing that we get to see in this is we get to see, like, Darth Vader in the, like, Force world. It's like this Force, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like just a Force world. You get to see him, and he's like this fiery ball of anger and hate, except for his limbs, which are like blue-white, because they're not there. But he still walks on those, and it's really cool to see that, because we also got to see that back in the first volume, but that was when we saw little glimpses of hope, of like good still being there, because in this Force world what surrounded him was like these blue butterflies that signified that there's still hope, but he crushed that out in that whole volume.
He killed Myrn?
Yes, he killed Myrn. Myrn was destined to die. But in the fourth volume, we learn about that, and all that shindig goes down. Of course, we get Fortress Vader in the end, and it is a fantastic run. It is my favorite Darth Vader run so far.
Very hot.
Yes, it was very hot. Mustafar is very hot.
I read Swamp Thing Green Hell #1, written by Jeff Lemire, arted by Doug Monk. One could say Monk.
Monkey?
Mahnke.
Ooh.
And colored by David Barron. So there's no context as soon as you start reading this. You have to piece together. I'm assuming it's the end of the world as we know it. And
I feel fine?
No.
Oh.
I do not feel fine.
But you are fine.
Neither does the red, the green, or the black. They are like ready to wipe out humanity, or what's left of it, because there really isn't much. So the green's like, I'm gonna do it, and he starts attacking the people, and it's really cool. It's about halfway through the book that you get this splash page.
Oh! Holy shit.
That's nice.
Of him just absolutely murdering people, ripping them limb from limb. And it is fantastic to look at. It's quite gory. He loves to put vines through eye holes and mouths and stuff.
That's gross.
Hot.
Colin, we know you're into tentacle hentai.
A couple of pages later, they do basically the same splash,
Oh.
but it's still beautiful and disgusting. There are no characters that we know of up until the last couple of pages.
Is it Batman?
No.
Oh.
It's Constantine.
Characters that we are following go up to the lighthouse to see Old Man Ben. Basically, I don't remember what they call him, but it wasn't Ben. And yes, it is John Constantine.
Yeah!
So they're like, we need you to do the thing, and he's like, man, the man's gonna be pissed, and they're like, I don't care, we need you. So then, he brings back Alec.
Oh. So yeah, because
through some sort of portal.
So the Swamp Fang, that swamp ass boy that's running around in the rest of the book, is he just a blob?
He's just a green monster.
Okay, no brain.
Basically, as far as I can tell. Okay. I don't really know my Swamp Thing mythos. You will probably tell me different. But yeah, it's like the second to last page. Alec Guinness is... Wow.
Alec Guinness.
Whoa.
Old Man Ben. Nice try. This
Thank you.
is not a Star Wars crossover, you liar.
Alec is brought back as the Swamp Thing through like flames and stuff of the portal, and Constantine was right. He's pissed about being brought back because he was in paradise or something.
Yeah, he's come back from the dead a fair few times.
Yeah.
It's like a thing with Swamp Things.
He's like, what the fuck?
I was dead and happy. And
he
they were
was
like,
literally in the middle of
we need
ramming
you.
the shit out of Abby Arcane, in paradise, obviously. They were having a moment, and then Constantine's like, "Oi, mate! Hate to break it to you, needed some help? Get over here, bruv." That was atrocious. I'm so sorry.
Please do it again, our patrons.
Probably calls him the C word.
Oi, cunt!
Fuck.
I paid $7 for this issue.
Wow.
And it is beautiful. It has a nice, thick, hard
Bulge.
cardstock cover, I guess.
Ooh.
It feels like it's worth the money.
That's nice.
Definitely. I am going to Jetpack after this recording to pick up book 2 because it just
Ooh.
released.
That's fucking hot.
You're hot.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing.
Which one?
Swamp ass.
As I talked about Swamp Thing last week, and I was going to talk about Swamp Thing this week again, but I got lazy.
Nice.
I got very lazy because I've had one hell of a fucking week, and I've got a lot of projects I'm working on. So
Oh,
I
really?
didn't. Yeah. So next week I'm gonna have
Your mom is one of them.
Oh,
It does-
you really got me.
It takes a lot of work, to be fair, but next week I'm probably gonna have 2 Swamp Things. Yeah. So I did nothing.
Nice.
Whoa.
I have been getting caught up on other things that aren't. I've basically just been watching The Simpsons. I request a question by the council.
Oh, this is a Dime Comic Bros first, I believe.
No,
That
Feels like
For
it.
you.
Take a question?
not for me. It's happened like once or twice.
No.
Not Batman related.
What season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars is your least favorite and why?
Ooh. Season 1 or 2.
I knew it.
Because that is when it was peak out of order in terms of production and release date. It also had the most amount of, not filler arcs. I wouldn't call anything they ever did filler, to be fair, but the least amount of ongoing stories, the most amount of the more cringe-inducing stuff that really hasn't aged that well. There were some really nice episodes in the first season. I liked the arc with Yoda and Ventress on... Oh, I don't remember the planet's name. Watto's species. Shit. I'm flexing on my not Star Wars nerd right now. I'm so sorry. Not Trandoshans. That's not right. Fuck. Whatever. I like that arc, but the rest of it I barely remember. And yeah.
What about the Clone Wars or the Clone arcs?
Those were fine, but
Those are like the best ones of those seasons, not the rest of the show.
of the seasons, yes, but there was at least one of those arcs per season, and they kept getting progressively better. So the beginning one was kind of boring. It was like 2 episodes. So the first season, first or second season, is just the weakest. Not bad, but very Saturday morning cartoon.
The
And that's not a bad
animation
thing.
is definitely the weakest there,
Also
too.
very much.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if I could say just the movie, I would say just the movie, because that was 7 episodes strung together, and it has the shittiest animation of the entire thing, because they very clearly rushed that thing out. But that's cheating. Paulina, have you done anything else?
Ask me a question, bitch.
Oh,
This is funny because I rushed both of my topics because I was driving home from my trip and had literally nothing, so
Wow.
it was almost a week of questions, apparently.
That's so funny.
Imagine us actually talking to each other and asking interesting questions.
Gross.
That's grody.
Gross.
Colin, my question for Spencer is not going to be my question for you because it's more designed for you anyway.
Wow.
If you had to design a new ship,
I'd make it look like a penis.
ship style for Star Wars, what would it look like?
Penis? Okay, so...
He's literally our autistic child.
A penis! Pee-pee! Yeah! What would it... Okay,
I think he's telling us that we need to bring him to the bathroom again.
Pee-pee!
Yeah,
Poo-poo!
it's your turn to jerk him off. I'm sorry.
No! I just had to pee.
Into his mouth.
If I were to make a Star Wars ship, it would probably be It would be kind of a mix between a gunship and a starfighter. Ooh. So like a mix from the Razor Crest and something that's like a Jedi starfighter.
All right, so it's not like the heavy. It's more of a medium
It's an in-between.
ship.
So it's like it has enough room for a sleeping quarter, and a bathroom, and a refrigerator.
But no cargo?
A cargo, for sure. So kind of like the Razor Crest.
Right.
Basically like a body like the Razor Crest, but it has a lot of cargo room in the Razor Crest, so kind of cut that down a little bit to maybe like 2/3 of that.
Okay.
Keep the 2/3.
Right.
And get rid of the escape pod. No escape pod, like the Razor Crest has.
Yeah, ride or die.
Ride or die, of course. Probably like three chairs in the cockpit, and boosters would be whacked out. Like, this ship wouldn't be a standard off the market. It would be like cracked. So the escape pod was already there, but it was removed to house the better engine.
He's just describing a Firefly.
My gosh. And then it would be called the Star Skipper.
Interesting.
So you said gunship too. Where are these guns that you speak of?
So the Razor Crest is known as a gunship.
Right.
So, and the reason why I said that is because it's a heavier ship. The guns would be in the front and probably, I would like to say in the back, but I think it would just be in the front, because if it's a mix between a gunship and a starfighter, it would have enough. It would be light enough where it can, when they're just like flying through the air, it would be light enough for him to go, stop, and then they go, and then you go right at them.
Cool.
Yeah.
What Colin just described was a Star Wars version of a brake check.
Yes. There we go.
With guns.
With guns.
With lots of guns.
Yeah.
Wow, you did do a Matrix reference?
Oh, and the sleeping quarter would have to be like a queen size bed.
Of course.
For fucking.
Yes.
Literally my intention.
Wow. Whore.
Yes.
Everyone in Star Wars is a virgin.
This is true.
If you were in Star Wars, the Star Wars universe,
Yep.
would you do a Twi'lek first or a Love Droid?
Twi'lek.
Yeah, of course.
Easy. Twi'lek, dude. They're literally Star Wars Playboy bunnies.
Alright. Enough Star Wars. I read Lock and Key Volume 2.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit, my ass.
Second paperback collection trade, I guess. Subtitled Head Games. That's funny because
You don't get head.
the key that they find unlocks the head.
That's the head key?
It's the head key. So there's head games. It was a really interesting effect with the head key because it takes off the top of your head.
The fuck?
And people can just look into it like a fishbowl.
That's so weird.
And it's even weirder because the person becomes dissociated, I guess, and can look into their own head.
I'm kind of glad the Netflix adaptation did that differently. That might scar some children.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The comics are definitely not meant for children. The spooky well lady that becomes a dude and goes to high school with the kids comes across wicked rapey in this whole book. It's not cool. I was really uncomfortable in most of his scenes because he's living with his the gym teacher, I think it was, who's supposed to be his aunt, but there's definitely an intimate scene that seems weird, and then he takes the head key in the end and uses it to get into her brain, and that feels rapey because she's like crying and saying no, stop. Like, it's really...
What the fuck is this comic?
It's really uncomfortable.
What is this series that you're reading?
You know, I think one of the things, not to totally hate on people with one particular style, but soul patches are rapey. But continue.
Soul patches?
The soul patch makes him look
Just right
rapey.
here.
When it's just the soul patch?
Oh, just that?
It's very rapey.
Yes, it is.
Very early 2000s.
Yeah, very early 2000s. So out of the early 2000s, it's rapey.
Yes.
But if it's only 2000s, then it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Like a rock star. Like,
yeah, back then. But
Yeah.
now it's like, dude, you're stuck 20 years ago.
Right.
Please stop.
right, no.
Continue talking about the mind rape.
They talk about how adults can't remember magic. So Bodhi finds the head key. He's like, guys, check this out. And he's running around with, like, the top of his head missing. And his skull is, like, wide open. And the kids are horrified. And his mom's like, that's cool, honey. And, like, goes back to doing the dishes. And they're like, Ma, do you not see this? Right here. His head's missing. Yep, that's nice, kids. So it's cool. A little bit later, the rapey well lady guy with the soul patch talks about how adults can't remember magic, and they usually, I think it was remember the past in black and white or something like that. And this one, his aunt or gym teacher or whatever, has a little bit of color because she had a part of him, her, it, whatever the ghost well lady thing is in her brain, which turns out to be true. There was a little piece of that person in her brain, so that's how she was able to talk with him and remember him and all of that.
That's weird.
From when she was a kid. Weird. So at the end of the story, when he uses the mind key, he takes that little piece out, and then the last issue is in black and white from her perspective.
So sad.
Remembering her childhood and growing up, and the only piece that's in color is the piece of the well lady, like climbing into her mind, basically. So it was really, really cool. I love black and white comics. Everybody knows this, especially when it's done with color effects to make things really pop. That's like my favorite thing ever. Lock and Key is not my favorite thing ever. It's
far from us.
It's definitely going for the horror vibe much more than the TV show ever thought to. It's stark difference. It's really
the well lady
odd.
is a disgruntled Stark employee.
Shut up.
Question for Spencer.
Oh yeah, give me a question, Daddy. No Batman. No Star Wars.
I don't know if we've gone over this before.
No Spider-Man. I'm excluding all Hot Topic issues from the discourse.
Alright. One we definitely haven't done before. So, Marvel did not do a whole lot with their Max series.
Uh-huh.
They did Punisher, they did Alias, Jessica Jones, and a couple other. I think they did War Machine once.
There was a weird. That entire War Machine one was like made out of 3D models. It was so fucking weird and shit.
I'm pretty sure it's
There's a very short Blade run. It's not even collected.
Really?
Yeah, it's
didn't
like
know
4
about
issues
Blade.
or something. Yeah, I couldn't find it.
What character would you do if you had 6 issues?
Oh fuck.
And what would the story be and
So-
all that?
When you say do you mean have sex with or like write?
Yes.
Okay,
So-
Spencer, go.
So, in terms of Max, are we speaking proper out of continuity Max? Because the Punisher Max stuff got like soft folded in.
That's because it was good.
Well, yeah. So
you have that potential if you write a good one,
Oh,
but
shit. Oh shit! Saying Daredevil is too cliche.
it's kind of been done
It
too.
has. So that's fine.
Netflix
That's not
counts.
I guess it doesn't. That's not necessary.
6 hours later.
So this is actually pretty tricky because a lot of the Marvel heroes tend to not really need to be too explicit, just in like their themes and presentation. So I ran through a list of characters I thought would be kind of interesting. Spider-Man Noir got away without needing to be in a Max run. It was obviously an out of continuity thing, but that was pretty nasty sometimes.
The second one, especially.
Yeah. So I think that is out. That's already been taken care of.
I don't even know. You'd have to just put good kid Spider-Man in some awful situations. Like,
Yeah.
You can't have Spider-Man cross over to be a bad guy.
No, but he does do a lot of shooting in that run. But
That's
anyways, yeah, like, so I thought about that, but that's kind of a no. And then the main runs seem to get pretty nasty with it anyways, but I'm 50-50 on either Ghost Rider or Hellstrom. Because Hellstrom, in particular, has had a bunch of mostly mid runs, and there's only, like, a few. The character isn't the most interesting, innately, in my opinion, but I think there's a lot of interesting stuff to pull from in terms of, like, his wife being, like, fucking insane. I think there's something interesting to pull at there.
My wife, yeah. Him
and being, like, the whole Son of Satan thing. That's kind of a thing. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of potential there. Obviously, anything with the mystical end is going to definitely be more nasty, so that's fun.
I mean, the Warren Ellis run definitely pushed boundaries anyway.
Yeah, so I'm thinking something like that, maybe. Or a Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is always pretty gross, but they do it in a fun way for the most part. So Ghost Rider's not mean-spirited that I've found in all the Ghost Rider I've read. Even the nastier stuff, it's never really mean-spirited. And I think that's what Max tends to be, and I don't think that's a bad thing either. It's an outlet for
It's
like a really mean-spirited version of the character, and then there's some things that don't really fit that, even though they are really gross. Like Ghost Rider sends people to hell all the time. He stares into their souls and then they disintegrate. Like, he does all sorts of nasty shit, but like, I don't know, the books still have a sense of fun to them, which is nice. They're very like metal like that. Like, they have a lot of fun with summoning Satan. Am I wrong?
No.
Yeah. Fuck, this is actually hard.
So, can I complicate it even more?
Oh, fuck you. Fine.
Elektra. Or Black Widow, maybe, but... Like, Black Widow
I don't feel
could get
comfortable
pretty messed up.
writing female characters in those
I
situations.
get that, but Elektra is, like, a killer.
This is
Well,
true.
actually, they both are.
Well, yeah. But
So-
she's like a fucking serial killer, basically.
Right.
This is... See, that's just the thing, is I don't feel comfortable writing women in the first place, but especially if we're going to put them in a really nasty, mean-spirited, potentially, probably rapey run, holy shit, I don't feel comfortable with that.
I feel like you're
past the limit of my
better
writing
writer
abilities.
for a female character, if any man was going to.
Wow.
Out of us, at least, because you're gay.
Wow. Damn, bro.
What? You're gay.
That's not how that works, but
Elektra
okay.
as a
Yes,
max
it
run
is.
would be great, though. I want to see that. Hellstrom I'd probably skip on because the Warren Ellis run scared me. I'm scared.
It literally did scare you. You were, like, disturbed for, like, a week or two.
I was not okay.
That was awesome. I'm going to read that pretty
I
soon.
needed my teddy bear.
You kind of did. I don't have an answer for this. Ow! Fuck!
That's definitely a DCB first.
Ah!
Spencer does not have an answer.
It would have... Nope. Morbius. There we go. Morbius. We're doing
Oh,
Morbius.
come on!
I'm just going to do a Morbius and Blade, and I'm going to find all... Nope. Correction. It's just going to be a Midnight Suns run. It's all gonna-
It's going to be about my small penis.
Midnight Suns.
So we're gonna have. I could probably pull up a list and find more, but we're gonna have a Hellstrom. We can have a Morbius. We can have a Blade. We can have a Ghost Rider. We could throw a Punisher in there, but I don't think I'd want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Everybody would just compare it to
Exactly.
Garthanis, so...
Yeah, that would be kind of weird. Those are the bigger ones, but you can pull out some more, like because they're mostly like D-listers, like they're just bottom of the bin.
So would you do, like,
sorcerers.
they're all together at the beginning of the 6 issues, or would you do one character per issue and the last one's a team-up, or...
I'm thinking maybe something like that, or something along the lines of... I think they're going to take down Dracula, or something like that. Something like that.
Alucard.
They're going to...
Thank you.
I think it would be like you have... maybe Morbius, because he is a sad boy and he's trying to not be a vampire.
Yeah.
He's like indebted to some like vampire overlord or whatever, who's like promising him to like cure him or whatever. And then they have to, the rest of this team, or Blade, maybe just Blade, has to like convince him that it's not going to work, and then they have to get him to like be a rat. Literally turn into a rat, of course. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff with that. That's something. I wrote a story treatment for like a Netflix show for the Midnight Suns because this is shit I wanted to happen on the Hulu shows that they all canceled. Big sad. Something like that.
I honestly cannot believe horror movies do not use fingernail clippers more often. That is some of the most disturbed stuff you can do. And almost nobody does it.
Give me your tooth.
No.
Wait, what movie? What movie that uses it?
No, just the nasty meme or whatever online. Like,
Yeah, they should do more shit like that.
That's what I'm
Let's write
saying.
something.
No.
like you know,
I could write horror.
it's against the law to carry a fingernail clipper on an airplane.
Is it?
Why?
It is?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
So, what I'm thinking is all of the Midnight Suns are stuck on an airplane. But there's a serial killer running around with a pair of nail clippers, and they have to figure out who it is that's on the plane.
And no. The whole thing is that Ghost Rider is trying to figure out how to clip his foreskin with his own fingernails. Clippers.
The fuck? No.
Yes.
His foreskin's on fire. He doesn't have a dick when he's in ghost form. It's canon.
Is it?
I just made it canon. In my universe.
Do you have that one?
No, not yet. That's one of the next ones I need to pick up. So I'm thinking like a 6 issues is too limited. I'm thinking like 12. We have an individual issue introducing. We intersplice. We do like a DC event type deal. You have the first issue, which sets up you have 6 issues that are individual character ones, and then 6 issues that are like the actual story. And when the character gets introduced in the story, the next issue is their like backstory and like what they've been up to type of issue. So we can have them coming together to defeat the flying spaghetti monster.
Suck dick.
Shut up.
Thank you to our patrons, Wesley Eaton, Jeff Lawrence, and Dave. The infamous Dave. For supporting our show. We really appreciate the support. It keeps us going every week, except for the weeks that we skip, which happens far too often. If you are a new listener and you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/dimecomicbros. We got 3 different tiers that you can support us with. I'm actually kind of surprised that Patreon doesn't allow like a custom tier to be like, no, I want to pay $8.50 a month because I'm special.
No, you can set whatever you want.
Can you?
Yeah, I just set up 5, 10, and 15, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. Each one comes with different rewards. That's how Patreon works.
Stickers.
You get free stuff.
We'll say your name.
But it's not free because you're paying us.
Well, yes.
Ah.
It's just very cheap, sort of. Yeah, you get lots of stickers. You can get a sketch done by Colin. If you pay us a lot of money, we might talk to you.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right?
That'll never happen in real life.
You get true.
You'll never find us.
You'll get early access to all of our podcasts, and you'll also get exclusive segments, clips, and stuff, including Dime Comic Bros Happy Hour, which is our follow-up coffee drinking, lunch eating, beer drinking
Really?
podcast segment.
Whatever we can ingest, we do
Pretty much.
around a microphone.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of an ASMR session, and then it ends up being us ranting about how much we actually hate comic books, and this is all a grift for money.
Yes.
So yeah, go to patreon.com/dimecomicbros if you want to throw some money at us. That'd be really cool and appreciated. If not, a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff
You
helps.
like how he subtly took control of the credits? Like,
Yeah.
I started it, and he was like, no, give me.
Yeah.
thank you to Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. I'm going to be seeing you very shortly. Spencer said he saw you recently.
Yes.
And we just love you way too much. Our wallets cry every time we enter Rochester because there's no avoiding you. We love your support, though. Thank you for hanging the poster. We slap it every time we walk in for good luck.
I literally do.
We put stickers all over that door.
They know every time we walk in because there's a weird sound in the back of the room.
True. Thanks for putting up with our cringe-inducing conversations.
They have all kinds of comic books and games and puzzles and cards and anything nerdy that may tickle your fancy. Check them out.
But yes, do that.
We
That'd be
have
good.
all the social medias. Everybody knows how to social media. You like, you subscribe, you share. Wow.
Damn,
it's
bro.
as if we haven't been doing this since 1998's MySpace page, right? Am I right?
Dude, we would have a banger MySpace page.
We would.
We would.
We only have 3 friends though, and we need top 8.
We would have. What song would we have playing on our MySpace page?
I'm Not Okay by MCR.
Oh my god. Next week we will be discussing Logan, the Snick Wolverine movie with the screaming huge acting man. Colin's gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Jacob might cry.
I might tear up.
Cries.
Getting Jacob to tear up takes a lot. You can't even get him to tear up if you start cutting off his foreskin with toenail clippers. It takes a lot of effort, man.
Goodbye. I love you. Bye.
Please kill me. That's it. Goodbye.
He's back. Recently fucking shit.
Juanan, probably. Jacob, this one's gonna make you come hard. Colin, you look like shit. It's fine. Yeah, Comixology is still very fucked.
It is.
Whatever the
fucky.
hell happened over there,
I got it on Kindle.
whoever spilt the coffee on that server is gonna get fired so bad. Anyways, go support your local comic book shops.
Yes.
That's why I like the girthy run.
Shut up, Colin. Although his run is very girthy. It is the most girthy of all the Garth runs.
Freaking 6. That is a really small burb outside your window that's pecking at the tree.
Barb.
It doesn't look like a woodpecker, but it's just a little blue burb pecking at the tree.
Where?
Way down here at the bottom. Nope. Way down. Down. The other down. You've gotta be like where my face is. Down here.
No, I don't see it. Oh. I see him.
Very small
Woodpeckers have blue on them.
blue burb with like an orange chest. Orangey white mix. Like a creamsicle chest.
I trimmed my foreskin.
I trimmed my foreskin last night.
Ugh.
Reclaim your foreskin, brothers!
What he didn't say is he used a fingernail clipper to do it.
Ah!
Jacob! Fuck!
Jacob.
Shut up, Colin! Stop making good ideas! White nerdy's a little on the nose.
Oh my gosh. I did do the entire song in front of Rachel in the car. She was quite impressed.
Dude,
Just saying.
okay, hold on. Your wife is so horny for you. She's impressed by anything you do. You could, like, blink at her incorrectly. She'd be like, oh my gosh, he's so good at that.
I mean, that's what you do to him, too, so...
It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
It
You're
is
just
true.
the male version of his wife.
How does that fucking happen every time?
He is literally my male wife.
Maybe he's just projecting. He doesn't want women, but
He
you're
wants
not
me.
fucking him.
You know, you might be right about that.
Oh god.
You might be onto something.
Okay, moving on. What's a good mystical villain that is?
Your mom.
Mephisto confirmed!
Mephisto confirmed! Your mom